12 to 1. You are invited. You can sign up through the library. It's going to be, the Littlestown nonprofits are going to be there and talking about what we do in the community. So it will be Thunderbolt Foundation, Alpha Fire Company, Littlestown Historical Society, Littlestown Roots Harvest, New Hope Ministries, and then also Huffman Homes and Forever Love Rescue are going to be there joining us. And as an added bonus, you can have lunch because the 5th graders are currently growing lettuce for us. So we're going to have a salad bar on that day with fresh grown lettuce by our students using their hydroponic growing system. Any lettuce that is not used during that event is going to be donated to New Hope Ministries for their food bank. So please come visit us and find out about all of them. You can sign up on the Adams County Library website. So October 17th is very specific to Littlestown. And the end of October, fingers crossed, the story walk should be going in. It's to be delivered. The pieces that we need are going to be delivered at the beginning of October, and then we're going to be able to work with some local companies that are going to be helping us with that and get the story walk in behind the school right here. So we're looking forward to that also. And then finally, we have we got a $1,500 donation from Conewago Enterprises, and that donation is to go towards our high school students that take welding, and it will help provide support for the district to help support them in welding kits. And this is something that they helped us with last year. We're also going to be working on getting a closet of those materials that they use in that, and so that, you know, some of those things can be reused from year to year. And so we're also working on that, but it's to support our students that are taking these classes, because each welding kit is approximately $450 that the students would have to pay. That is the end of my report. And I don't have a jersey because I'm a basketball fan, so see me during the basketball season.
It was
Go
considered
Zags.
any sport.
So any questions?
Any questions?
Or any questions, because I know there's a couple things on the agenda that deal with us too, so if you have any questions about those, I'd be happy to answer them.
Beth, I have a question.
Sure.
Your hydroponic system, have you branched out from lettuce to anything else?
Oh, he is going to. So I just purchased for him a whole supply of, he's going to try tomatoes
Oh,
and
cool.
all different types of things. So there's some things on order for him. So they learn about different things with this during their STEM classes. And I'm sort of excited to see. So this year, it's going to be more than lettuce.
Yeah.
But we need the lettuce for the 17th, so that was a special request. So
That's good.
They have it all, they got right on it, and they're like, we can do it, we can do it. And so thank you to the 5th graders for stepping up and helping.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, Ms. Becker. At this time, we recognize the members of the public who have signed up to provide comment as stipulated in policy 903. When your name is called, please approach the podium, state your name, confirm you're a resident or taxpayer in the district, and your topic of discussion for the record. Please direct your comments to the board as a whole, not an individual. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes or less. The privilege may be interrupted, revoked, or a recess of the meeting may be called by the chair if the speaker does not observe recess. Thank you, and Susan Johnson is up first.
Good evening, my name is Suzanne Johnson. I am a resident, taxpayer, and parent in the district. As I shared 2 weeks ago, I'm concerned that the substitute SSO contract doesn't specify that the security guard must have a firearm. In fact, the only equipment specified is a uniform and electronics such as a computer and phone. I understand that Dr. Naylor has said that the intention is for the guard to be armed, but anything beyond the 4 corners of the contract isn't legally binding. At a rate of $64 per hour. This is over twice what the district is paying for unarmed security officers at extracurricular events at a rate of $30.50 per hour. At that significantly higher rate, if the intention is for the officer to be armed, then that must be specified in the contract to make it legally binding. As I've also shared, I'm concerned about the behavior of school officials towards contractors and the impact that has on the school district's ability to obtain the most affordable contracts. This substitute SSO contract is with M Protective, which was more expensive than G-Force when the school was looking at options to add a second full-time armed SSO earlier this year. Beyond the negative things school officials have said about G-Force during school board meetings, we now see that tonight the school board will be voting on the hiring of John Lorenz as an employee of LASD to fill the full-time SSO position, poaching the G-Force employee that was working as a contractor in our district last school year. We saw similar hiring practices when the school district hired school psychologists earlier this year that were previously working in our schools as contractors. Not only do these hiring practices seem unethical, but they could also be illegal if the employee's contract has a non-compete clause or if the school's contract has a non-solicitation clause. For example, in the M Protective Substitute SSO contract that's being voted on tonight, it says, quote, during and for 1 year after the term of this agreement, the client will not solicit the employment or employ M Protective personnel without prior written consent. School official statements made against contractors in public meetings, such as G-Force or Hartwell's last week, and then the solicitation of contractors' employees may not only limit our district's ability to get the most competitive contracts, but could also subject the district to costly legal proceedings. Next, I'll turn to another important issue that many taxpayers may not yet be aware of because the committee meetings aren't live streamed. At the Finance Committee meeting 2 weeks ago, there was a first look at the athletic field feasibility study with a recommendation from the administration to request bids for option 1 for the baseball, softball, and practice fields that they estimate will cost between $765,000 to over $1.1 million, which they indicate could be mostly funded by the expected $725,000 in proceeds that they expect to get from the sale of properties later this year. While I agree that there are significant baseball and softball field needs, I am concerned that the scope of these projects has ballooned exponentially from what was estimated to be about $55,000 in the 10-year capital project plan. Further, it's concerning that we would put that much money into athletic fields when we're only expecting to invest $540,000 in the ACTI building project, which seems much more important for our students and community. I sincerely hope that the administration and school board examine the feasibility study closer to reassess what our truly needs versus wants and what they're asking of the community. I also believe these projects would be good opportunities to work with the Thunderbolt Foundation, that just left, to identify naming rights agreements to limit the impact on taxpayers. With residents already struggling to pay for the previous tax increases for the middle school and high school building project, the ACTI building project, and the significant water and sewer rate increases, it is reasonable for the community to expect proceeds from our district land sales to ease their tax burden instead of being immediately spent on further costly projects. I encourage residents to listen to the audio recording of the September Finance meeting on the LASD website, or if they prefer, we all know that the video recording of the full unedited meetings is on the Littlestown Transparency YouTube page, despite what you may have heard. And I encourage residents to attend the October Finance meeting to share their feedback and hear further discussion on the athletic fields feasibility study and the 10-year capital project plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Dean Esther. You only get 2 minutes.
I don't need much time at all. I really don't. Oh, nice to be on this side of the podium instead of at the table. I prepared a speech and I was going to stand up here and tell you some of my real feelings. And somebody told me as I was driving in here, take the hybrid. So I'm going to take the hybrid. I'm not going to blast some of the members that have blasted me in the past. to thank Dr. Bell for everything that he has done for our district in basically almost the past year. I had the opportunity to sit in on his interviews when he was interviewing. Kind of impressed us when he came in with blue and gold as he said with his interview. At that time, I don't think he really knew what he was in for. Things changed pretty rapidly. He had to deal with a new board and 7 new board members and helping them become part of the community, part of educating our students, which I think some of them still need some work on. All by way of keeping a positive attitude between the staff, the administration, and the teachers. And this was very difficult. Teachers listen to board meetings and what's happening, and yet he was the positive influence that kept the teachers and the staff going. I don't think people that, and I've worked in the district, understand how important that is. So Dr. Bell, you've been phenomenal. You have actually brought your expertise of being a superintendent to our district in a time when we really needed it. As many times as I talked to you in the past year, you always had a positive attitude. You always said something, we're working on that, we're getting better at that, that's the way we're gonna go, things are good. You've also had to guide the district into helping to find a new superintendent. Even though we've had a company to do that, they still were looking to you for guidance. You have been a great mentor to Dr. Mitchell in these past year, helping him fill into the role of the new superintendent. I don't think this community truly knows how valuable you have been to the district. We are forever grateful for everything that you've done. Your expertise has been overwhelming. So thank you very much from the community for everything that you have done. And I think that you will also embrace the Thunderbolt Pride. You said to me a couple weeks ago, it's pretty bad when I really understand all the policies and everything that's going on here. So thank you very much. Tim and Judy, thank you for filling in or moving into new positions. We really appreciate that. Tim, I think you'll do a fine job guiding us and helping our district. And best of luck to Dr. Becker, who will be moving into the high school. So again, thank you for all that you've done.
Thank you. Appreciate all the comments. Okay, it's going to be on to business. I need a motion to approve the regular board minutes of August 19th, 2024.
So moved.
Oh, remember, please state your name for the record.
Nick Lovell, so moves.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Yerger,
lawyer.
second.
I'll go Mr. Yerger. Okay. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? I need a motion on the board for the Finance Property and Supply meeting of September 3rd, 2024.
So
Wayne
moved,
Sullivan, so
lawyer.
moved.
You choose. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second, lawyer.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns? No. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Curriculum, co-curriculum, and policy meeting of also from September 3rd, 2024. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Nick Lovell.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Steve Yerger, second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I have one.
Okay.
For Ms. Carey. All right, under other business, where it says Ms. Russell suggested making some adjustments to the new reporting guidelines. Dr. Mitchell encouraged the committee to review and adjust the fee in a few months. Now, he actually said 9 months to a year. Thanks.
Correction will be made. session of September 9th, 2024.
So moved, Nick Lovell.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second, Lawyer.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Yerger, please pull out B.
Also, if we could pull G.
Want to pull I? Anybody else?
Carry B, I, and J.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
B, G, and
B, G, and I.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, under in the form of a motion, I recommend the approval of items A, C, D, E, F, H, J, K.
That's it. I have a motion on the floor for Mr. Yoder for A, C, D, E, F, H, and J, and K. Do I have a second?
Wayne Sullivan for a second.
Okay. Any discussion on those particular letters only? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Okay. In the form of a motion, we recommend B. Okay, pulled separately.
I have a motion for Mr. Yeager for B, Yerger, sorry, I always do that, Yerger. Mr. Yerger for recommend approval of Mayberry at Mason-Dixon's sponsorship agreement. Do I have a second?
Mary Brennan, second.
Discussion, I want to thank them for their sponsorship, for the stadium. I think it's in the tune of $20,000 for the next 5 years, $25,000, yeah. Next 5 years, catch myself. So that's a nice little thing to help. So that's what I wanted to pull out. Does anybody else have any other comments, questions, or concerns about that?
Thank you.
A big thank you.
Yeah.
All those in favor of the agreement signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, in the form of a motion, we recommend approval of G. That was pulled.
I have a motion, do I have a second for letter G?
Nick Lovell, seconds.
Okay. Somebody pulled it, so who's got the consent?
I pulled it, it was just another thank you to the folks that
Made the
made
donations?
the donations. And I see one of them was a board member. You want to explain what we're doing with that donation?
Yeah, I wrote down some notes. So actually tomorrow is Constitution Day, it's September 17th. It is the day that the Constitution was signed on September 17th, 1787 in Philadelphia. And so the 917 Society is a nonprofit organization that donates pocket-sized constitutions to every 8th grader across the country. And then during their history and social study classes, they talk about it and what it represents and what we have our rights as Americans. So I think it's pretty cool. This is the second year in a row that they contributed and done that. So yeah, I think it's a great day.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you. Any other comments or concerns on letter G? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval I.
I as, a motion has been set on the table for letter I. It's getting that, this one. Do I have a second one?
Second, Lawyer.
Okay. Do I have somebody, Mr. Sullivan? you-
Yes, I pulled it just to have a separate vote on it, Carl.
Okay, okay. All right, all those, so we have, that's the end of your discussion?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed?
Okay, we have 3 abstentions. Three opposes. Okay. Motion carries. Oh, that's where you get to say every report. Oh, yeah, don't forget L.
Yeah. I was just gonna say the report, in the report.
Yeah, but you gotta say that other part.
I don't see this one. Sorry.
You have to say noted
Oh,
L.
item L 1 through 7 is noted. Information on the.
All right, under personnel, does anybody have anything, A through L?
I'd like to pull E3, Nick, if you wouldn't mind.
I'd like to pull F2.
Danielle, what did you say before?
She had C, E, and F so far.
Got it.
And don't forget there's L on the backside. Does anybody have any of those? Okay.
So I've got, just to clarify, letter C, E3, F2, and that's it. Okay. In the form of a motion, recommend approval of personnel items A, B, D. No. Yes. A, B, D, G, H, I, J, K, and L.
I have a motion on the floor for items A, B, D, E, G, H, I, J, K, and L. Do I have a second?
Yerger, second.
Do I have any discussion on any one of those items?
Again, Carl, I'd like to note,
Yeah.
just for, the board to know that request 1 was obviously backdated thing, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a note of that. Thank you.
Anything else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval of the annual nurses' standing orders.
I have a motion on the floor to recommend approval of the annual nurses standing orders. Do I have a second?
Second, Boyer.
Okay. Ms. Brenneman, you pulled it, so.
When was the last time this was updated?
Last year, 23, 24.
And who updates it? Because there's some outdated information in it.
Can I make a suggestion then?
What's that?
Since it is under your purview and you're very good with these things, why don't you make an appointment with the appropriate people which is probably.
The nurses work with the doctors, and the doctor signs off on that.
Because why don't you get with her to,
I'll get with you.
I need either or, I can't do it. So either you or you have to make a motion to do
So we don't want to vote on it tonight?
it. I think that would be the best underneath the circumstances to take care of it so that we get the proper information. So one of you two have to, you have to amend your additional one to table.
And it won't affect anything operationally?
I don't believe so. I mean, it would just delay some of the things that we do for our students, such as physicals or anything else that the doctors would come in with, and the work that our nurses do with the doctors. That would just delay that. We can certainly amend it if something is out of date, if we approve it this evening. If something is out of date, we can then amend it at a later time. That way we don't delay services to our students.
I mean, I'm fine with that as long as we can amend it, if, obviously, if all parties agree.
Okay.
Thank you,
I appreciate you bringing that out because this is why it's great to have board members that have different, aren't all teachers. Okay. So we have that motion. Any more discussion on that? Do we need to amend that to say that?
Pass it now. Next month, you'll have it as an amendment
Okay.
to the current nurses' standing order. And that'll give time for people to have their discussion.
Okay. Thank you for the advisement. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval
I have a second?
Aaron Brenneman, second.
Do we have any discussion on any of those? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval of staff hire number 3, John Lorenz, school safety officer.
Have a motion on the floor to recommend John Lorenz, school safety officer, effective tomorrow, September 17th, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second, lawyer.
Discussion.
I just want to say, I really like John Lorenz. I really do. I met him, I talked to him. He seems like he's got the district, you know, in his heart. Very nice guy. The only problem I have is the way the district went about getting him from G-Force. That's my view. I don't have anything against him. It's just, I don't like the way that was handled. So I'm a no vote on that, for sure. For that reason. I just want to move that.
Okay. Well, we have those. Anybody else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
In the form of motion, recommend approval of staff transfer number 1.
Have a motion from Nick Lovell for step transfer number 1. Do I have a second?
You're the second.
Do I have any discussion with that?
I have a question. Evers Kaplinger, is he experienced enough? I probably shouldn't ask this, but to go from seasonal to full-time, as it says here?
Simple answers.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I don't want you to get into details.
Simple answers, yes.
Okay, good, okay, fine. Talking in numbers.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
In the form of a motion, recommend approval of staff transfer number 2, Cindy Staub, transferring from maintenance/athletics administrative assistant to full-time maintenance administrative assistant, effective October 14th, 2024.
Okay, motion on the floor for Cindy Staub's transfer. Do I have a second?
Second, Danielle Brenneman.
Okay. Discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think Cindy is a wonderful, or has been a wonderful asset to our athletic varsity programs, our youth programs. She's been easy to work with. She loves our district. And I'm glad that we're still gonna see her on campus. We get to see her around. She'll still come and help out at different sporting events. I wish her well in her new position. I know Victor's really lucky to have her. I just wanted to just clarify that the position that she's currently filling is moving from not being filled, correct?
We are changing the position that she's in now to modify it to be fully to custodial and full-time maintenance administrative assistant effective October 14th. That's correct.
Thank you very much.
Hearing any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
End of that report. Under curriculum, co-curriculum, and policy, we have one item, the Pennsylvania Student Teacher Support Program, and recommend that for approval.
Have a motion on the floor to PA Student Teacher Support Program. Do I have a second?
Second, Wrestler.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I have a question. When the grant runs out, is this a grant that's gonna be every year, or is this grant gonna run out to where we're gonna have to pay this person, these student teachers?
This is something that Governor Shapiro put into place at the beginning of this year. There is a finite amount of money that's there. We do encourage our student teachers to